Round for Round Boxing in association with BWTM Sports. www.roundforroundboxing.com. Don't forget to check out our playlist of roundforroundboxing.com of all the latest fighters, trailers, and news about the latest boxing game in early development. Roundforroundboxing.com. Check it out. BWTM Sports. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, and leave your comments as always. And also don't forget to hit that notification button. This is the Canelo versus Golovkin 2 live preview and prediction show. We hope you enjoy it. Let's get myself more comfortable for this one. Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is now 3 o'clock in the morning here at BWTM Studios, and I am still going. I've had the Worthing basketball team of Ishmael Fontaine from Plaistow, London. I've had with me Nick Lewis from Toronto, Trinidad and Tobago. And I've had my man Zaire Taylor, last year's MVP for Worthing Thunder and arguably one of the best players in the basketball league. All three of these players were tonight at BWTM Studios. Two of them did interviews, and of course you've seen Zaire Taylor before. Ishmael Fontaine, what a character Ishmael Fontaine is. He's got a lot to say for himself, and I'm sure you're going to look forward to seeing what he can do with BWTM Sports in the future with his show. Right, so don't forget as well, www.roundforroundboxing.com. Check out the playlist we've got at the moment, with the exclusive channel for all things Round for Round Boxing. Check out the graphics. We just dropped yesterday the Henry Armstrong graphics to his grandson, Edward Scott Jr., the grandson of the great, and I say great, Henry Armstrong. So we dropped those graphics yesterday to him, and he couldn't believe how good the graphics were. Amazing. So like I said, for the graphics from Round for Round Boxing, literally blowing away the graphics from Fight Night Champion. And the play and the controllers are going to be as good as what I hope they'll be, or as I think they're going to be as part of the team. I think you're going to get a hell of a game. Anyway, so we're here for Canelo versus Golovkin 2, the preview and prediction show. I have with me in the room my man, right-hand man, Eugene. Eugene, how are we doing, brother?
I'm doing great, Ingram. How are you?
I'm good. We finally got around to doing this show. Of course, I had basketball in the room, and I know boxing fans don't really want to hear that because they're interested to hear about no basketball. They want to know about boxing. So let's get into things. Did you see the weigh-in?
The weigh-in? No, I didn't.
Yeah, well, Canelo and Golovkin finally came face to face, and Canelo was very irate when he saw Golovkin's face, and he looked like he was going to fight him there and then. I've never seen Canelo so irate in my life. He was ready to kick off there and then at the weigh-in.
Well, that is something actually I didn't expect, because the animosity between them actually grew without them meeting each other. It wasn't like face-to-face. And then all of a sudden they start talking nonsense, either of media accusing each other, either being a coward, or being a drug cheat, or being a crybaby, or whatever. And when usually it happens not face-to-face, you expect that it's just promotional thing, you know? But then when you actually see that people are in open animosity towards each other, I don't know who will be the toughest man to take it. You know?
Let's look at both men in the previous fight. Golovkin came in at the time, the power puncher, the big puncher, the come off a narrow win against Jacobs. Some people argue that Jacobs beat him in that fight. Then he had the fight against Kell Brook where he didn't look devastating against Kell Brook. They had the fight against Martirosyan where that knockout win, where people expected him to do that. But the first round, he was buzzed slightly by Vanes Martirosyan. What are your thoughts on that?
I think Martirosyan came to take whatever chance he could, and he decided, well, you know what? This guy is going to start punching me in the face at some point, so I might as well bring it onto him. And the interesting thing is, whenever Golovkin is taking damage, he isn't very active. You know, he kind of steps back, regroups, and then starts marching again. You know, hands up, and he just walks onto you. You know, so and actually the shots that Martirosyan was landing, they weren't funny shots. Like I saw that the look on faces has been changing. You know, like Golovkin took a few. Yeah, they didn't really hurt him, but I'm pretty sure he would not expect them. He was just, oh well, where did this come from? And that's from a guy who was on a layoff and wasn't actually middleweight. He came from 154.
If we look at that, I mean, that performance, I mean, I when I saw Martirosyan do what he did in the first round, I thought to myself, oh, hello, hold on a second. This is a light middleweight buzzing a guy's got a granite chin. That shouldn't be happening. Am I looking too much into things, or is there a possibility that all those punches that Golovkin took against Canelo have done more damage than we're aware of?
Actually, that's a great possibility of that being the truth. And also, Golovkin is getting older. You know, they basically had that fight just to, you know, not lose the date. But to me, so far, Golovkin is like running against the clock. Like, this will be like this fight against Canelo will decide where his career goes next. Because, well, actually, it won't. Sorry. I think it won't, because at this point, even if Golovkin wins, he doesn't have that many options left. He can try to get a fight with the winner of Andrade versus Billy J. Saunders, but he's not going up in weight, that's for sure. And we know how Sanchez feels about fighters that move, so, you know, fighting Charlo wouldn't be ideal. So I don't know. It seems like he got himself kind of cornered. And also Jacobs and oh, sorry, I forgot the name of my countryman. Are you serious?
Derevyanchenko.
Derevyanchenko. Yeah.
Derevyanchenko, yeah.
They are disputing one of his belts. So, you know, which I think Jacobs will take. Either way, he's in it for a tough fight.
Okay.
Even if he wins. And if he's not, then people are just gonna forget about him. I feel like. Just because there's been so much noise about it, and like the whole idea behind this match is that that was a fluke. The first fight was a fluke.
Okay. You still there, Eugene?
Yeah, give me a minute.
Sure. Okay, so in the first fight, for me, now I think Golovkin took a lot of punches in the first fight. Before we even talk about Golovkin Canelo, the second fight, I want to talk to you, boxing fans. Let me get myself in the camera here properly. That's better. I want to talk to you, boxing fans, for a second. Just think this out a second. Is the Abel Sanchez way of fighting being exposed? And if so, who do we thank for it? I think we have to look back at the Kell Brook fight. Kell Brook and Dominic Ingle came up with a strategy of not to stand in the center of the ring with Golovkin, and they gave Golovkin movement. They gave Golovkin movement. They were on the move, whether that be scared, nervous energy, but they knew, don't give Golovkin. And you notice when you hit Golovkin with a combination, he just back, he does it. You hit him, bang, bang, bang. He gets hit, he goes back, he defends himself. Golovkin, when he's on the back foot like that and he gets hit with shots, right? Once he goes back like this, that's when you go. And then he comes forward again, you hit him with punches, and then you're gone. What Kell Brook did was when he hit Golovkin with a combination, Golovkin went ahead to go back, then he'd come forward, and Kell Brook would still stand there, and that's where Brook made his mistake. Danny Jacobs tried something similar, but then Canelo went to that step even one step further, because Canelo used off the rope, using the shoulder roll, and using the upper body movement, which gave Golovkin a lot of problems. The left hook, you saw Golovkin trying to, desperate with that left hook all the time, trying to fight left hook to try and catch Canelo slipping under. And remember, this was a bigger framed Canelo, slipping under, slipping around, catching a lot of the shots. And then Canelo would catch Golovkin to the body, through the middle, straight ahead, uppercuts to the body, upstairs. And he throw combinations, 1, 2, down to the body, upstairs. He throw combinations of the ropes. Now, all them blows that Golovkin was taking with his face and his body, that couldn't have done Golovkin any favors whatsoever. And here's another point as well. I think, in my personal opinion, that the Golovkin story or myth of his punching power is overrated. Let me take you back a few years. There's a young man that used to come on this channel all the time by the name of Julian Jackson. So those of you who know who Julian Jackson is, that's a guy that had real, genuine one-punch knockout power. Golovkin's not that kind of a guy. Golovkin's the kind of guy that will hit you with a shot, stun you, and then go for the kill with you. But if you look at Julian Jackson, he'll hit you with one shot and lay you out flat. Now, when Jackson hit you, you weren't getting up. There was no referee stopping the fight. You would, against premier level opposition. Who was Golovkin knocked out at premier level? The top fighters. Who's he knocked out? He couldn't knock out a blown up welterweight. He couldn't knock out Danny Jacobs, and he couldn't knock out Canelo. 3 guys he could not knock out, because I don't think Golovkin's feet are very fast. And the other thing about Golovkin is, for all this, oh, he cuts the corners off brilliantly. He's the best at cutting off corners. I'd be the best at cutting off corners against a baby. I'd be the best at cutting off corners against a 5-year-old. But now cutting off corners against a world-class athlete, that's how you judge how good a guy is at cutting the corners off and closing the range down. And in the first fight, we saw that Golovkin was unable to do that, because guess what? Canelo was a mover. And guess what? Gassiev fights similar to Golovkin. And guess what both of their problems are? They can't fight against movers. Guys that can move. Guys who have lateral movement, good upper body movement.
I would actually add one step forward, because Gassiev actually has one-punch power. Gassiev is actually the guy who puts you down.
Yeah.
And Golovkin is kind of a guy who just, he shakes you up until you can no longer proceed.
Yeah.
And then just takes your head. But
against lower opposition, though.
Well, obviously, you see him. What was Abel Sanchez saying? The toughest fight was Dominic Wade.
You remember that show live, right? You remember when he tried to say
I remember watching it live. It was embarrassing. Listen, and he did it with a straight face. It wasn't like he was trolling. And you gotta understand, so Golovkin doesn't have power advantage. He's getting older. He needs to catch up with Canelo, who is more flexible fighter. So, for example, when Gassiev rocked Usyk in round 4, I believe.
Yep.
They made an adjustment to that left hook, because obviously Gassiev couldn't plant his feet to face Usyk and throw straight right or anything, so he needed to use his left hook. And what did they do? They just adjusted, and now every time Garcia was there to throw a left hook, Usyk would step in and close the distance.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, what are you going to be punching? An elbow? Well, good for you.
We've seen that Abel Sanchez, once a fighter starts moving against his fighters, he seems lost. We saw it in the Garcia fight against Usyk. Remember when he turned around and said, "Listen, hit him! What kind of instructions are that? If you don't hit him, I'm going to stop the fight."
Well, no, actually, Garcia returns to the corner. It was round 5, I believe, end of round 5, and he says, "I cannot adjust. I don't know what to do." And Abel Sanchez gives him nothing. Like, he's just threatening to pull the plug. I mean, that is not an instruction, you know. You don't throw shit at the wall until it sticks. You gotta do, like, you tell him to move, you know, slightly to the left. Don't just follow him. Cut the corner. But apparently, he never taught them how to do it.
Yeah, but remember, I don't know who these people are in boxing that think that Golovkin is like they say Golovkin. They like make passes for Golovkin. Like, I like Golovkin. Don't get me wrong, but it's the little bit of extra bullshit on top I can't take. Like the 20 defense of his title. I mean, you can't compare the 20 defenses he's making to the 20 defenses that Bernard Hopkins had. And the sort of guys Hopkins was fighting.
No, absolutely not.
You think Golovkin's only had fought 5 world champions? Or 5 former world champions? 5. And I think Canelo's fought at least 19 or 20.
Mm-hmm.
How is that possible? And the man's 36 years old. What's he been doing with half his life?
Well, they were saying that he's on 21 knockout streak, you know. He's just folding people over.
Yeah, but who?
And then, yeah, obviously who? And then he goes to fight Kell Brook in Britain. Kell Brook jumps 2 weight classes to fight him. So he gets a TKO. Like, he didn't actually put him down. He just, you know, he outslugged him. You know, he was heavier, bigger man. And Kell Brook was in too much for him. Then he fights Jacobs, who is the actual middleweight. Yeah, there are a lot of talk about, oh, Jacobs was almost a cruiserweight in that fight. But who cares? If he can do it, you know, that was a viable strategy then, right?
Yep.
And the maximum that he could do is drop him to the body, and Jacobs was still there. The magic disappears.
So I don't think at 36-year-old Golovkin gets better. Actually, I think his opportunity to beat Canelo was that fight. I don't think he gets any better. I think he gets worse. And I think, when was the last time they fought? Remind me when they last fought.
Over a year ago.
Now, who's that going to affect more, Golovkin or Canelo?
Oh, obviously Golovkin. Canelo is not getting... Yeah. Canelo is just approaching the peak of athlete's performance.
The Canelo's going like that, and Golovkin's going like that.
Yeah, one's going up, the other's going down. You know, and
the question needs to be asked again: how much did that first fight against Canelo take out of Golovkin?
Okay, let's suppose that it took nothing. Let's just suppose that, even though it can't be true. He still got older. Canelo had a year to be preparing for one opponent, and Canelo is technically will be getting better. So his golden window is past him. Now he's just, you know, running against the odds. And considering that it probably took a lot of him, because he was taking monster shots, and from what we've seen with Martirosyan, I'm not sure whether he was trying to put a show on something. but it doesn't seem like his defense is much better.
No, his defense isn't better. So we know what's going to happen. We know exactly what more or less is going to happen in this fight. I don't think Canelo's going to do anything different. I really don't think Canelo's going to do anything different. I think he'll throw more punches. But Golovkin, I can't expect Golovkin to throw more punches in this fight without tiring. I can't see Golovkin at 36 years old. I think Canelo's going to make them legs move. I don't think Canelo's going to change much apart from 4 more punches. I don't think he's stupid enough to fall into Abel Sanchez's lazy tactics, which is, oh, I think you need to stay in center of the ring and don't run. Abel Sanchez knows that Golovkin's best chance of winning this fight is for Canelo to stand in the center of the ring and have a war. That's the best chance. In fact, that's the only chance Golovkin's got to beat Canelo, which is for Canelo to stand in the center of the ring and have a war, because that lessens the chances of Canelo using lateral movement. It increases the chances of Golovkin being able to hold his feet and throw his shot, power punching. The minute Canelo is able to move, slip, move, slip, the knockout is less and less. And remember, Canelo's fought guys who've got faster hands than Golovkin. His hand speed's not going to get any quicker. If anything, Golovkin's going to slow down.
And like, to me, I think the thing is, Canelo can win either way. We just don't know, because Canelo had a year to prepare for this one guy, and he already saw the best of him.
All right. I don't think Golovkin does any better. I think he's worse in the second fight. I think he's worse. And I've never seen Golovkin. If you look at Golovkin's whole mannerism in this fight, in compared to other fights, he looks extremely unhappy. He looks like he doesn't want to be there. He looks uncomfortable. And for the first time in Golovkin's career, I've seen him actually mad and visibly, I wouldn't say the word shook, but he looks uncomfortable. He's got an uncomfortable look about him. And when Canelo came to him, that I think is the first guy I think that's actually come to Golovkin in a manner where I've come to mess you up and I can mess you up. Whereas guys in the past have come to Golovkin with the, I think I can mess you up, but I don't want to get hit by you. You know, you look at Brook. He was like, "Well, I've moved up 2 weight divisions. I don't want to get hit." He had a towel on the way to the ring with him. He had a towel ready to wave on the way to the ring. Jacob's already been knocked out by Pirog. So then the next guy up has to be Canelo, who's never been knocked out, and already fought Mayweather. So for Canelo, the first fight was, okay, this guy is a big puncher, but how big a puncher is I need to know. So you go into the ring with that thought process, oh, this guy could be a massive puncher. I could get knocked out here. So I don't know how big the punch is. Now he goes into the beautiful thing of a rematch, knowing just how hard Gennady Golovkin punches. He knows. So now you know how hard a man punches. Then you know, all right, what worked for me? I go back and look at the video. What doesn't work for me? Golovkin's not going to change. Golovkin can't change. Not a 36. Not a 36. He's not going to change. And people say, Golovkin boxed great against Lemieux. Lemieux can't box. Lemieux can't box. So you sticking a jab on a guy that can't box. Don't move anything. Do it against a guy who legitimately has got the same skill set as you or better skill set as you. Don't tell me about a guy that can close the range down against a 5-year-old or a guy that can't move his feet or has got 2 left feet. Oh, I can close the range against a guy who's got 2 left feet. What about a guy who has got decent footwork? The reason why Sanchez keeps talking about don't run, make it a Mexican punch-up is because he's too damn lazy to give his guy the instructions on how to close the range down. That's what the situation is there. And with that, I'm going to bring World Breaker into the room. Brother, how are we doing? Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry for the delay.
Okay, brother, how are we doing? What's going on?
Pretty good. Just came back with the family from dinner.
Okay.
Having a good time. My prediction for the Canelo Triple G fight is I'm sorry?
We haven't got there yet. We haven't got to the prediction. We're still doing the preview.
Hey, I just jumped in. I'm just listening. So you're basically making a breakdown.
Yeah, at the moment we're talking about the Abel Sanchez train of thought is I want you to don't run so that my boy can hit you. That's basically what it is, because I'm too lazy to coach you in how to close the range down.
You're talking about the guy that says throw more punches for strategy. Yeah, that's what happens there. Throw more punches. That's it. There's nothing else. So, it's not a sidestep. It's not bob and weave. It's throw more punches. That's your offense and your defense. So this stratagem that Abel Sanchez has employed has not fared well for most of his fighters over the long term. Triple G, who's had a comparatively easy resume to some of these guys, he didn't have the resume of Terry Norris. And Terry Norris, if you see Terry Norris these days, you feel very sorry for him. So, yes. Abel has only made his name off of Triple G. Before that, most people wouldn't know who he was. I feel sorry for Joe Joyce this late in the game to have Abel Sanchez as a coach, because it doesn't bode well. You're not going to learn how to slip punches. That's all I know.
So wait, Joyce was a stiff fighter before, and now he's gonna get even stiffer?
Probably. Yeah, he's gonna get stiff as rigor mortis. It's gonna be bad, man. So,
the money returns.
This is the thing with Canelo. You've watched a guy who evolved from a Mexican style early on, a traditional Mexican fighter style, into someone who's learned, his trainers have learned from every subsequent fight, and added tools to his game. Now, Canelo doesn't have the best footwork, but against Triple G, really doesn't matter. He has enough upper body movement to give Triple G hell. And so that's what happened the first fight. Canelo he could sit on the ropes. He could sidestep the punches. He could counter. Yeah, I think I agree with Ingram that the second fight is going to be much more difficult for Triple G and an easier fight for Canelo. Plus, since he's coming in probably under 160, he's going to be faster.
Yeah, that's another thing. People are like, oh yeah, the performance enhancing drugs. Hold on a second, just for 1 second. If you can't fight, you can't fight. Depending on it, don't matter how many drugs you take. If you can't fight, you can't fight. Drugs don't teach you how to slip a punch. They don't teach you how to do that. Drugs don't help you how to put a combination together. They might help you to throw more punches a lot longer. But if he's on PEDs, do answer me a question. Why the hell is he always tiring in fights? I thought if he was on PEDs, he wouldn't tire in fights, and he'd have some sort of output like Pacquiao. That 1,000 punches a round for 12 rounds and go 15 rounds 3 times over and not be tired once.
Because he's not on that road work. That's why. This is the thing. PEDs only work as good. They only work as well as you exercise or lift weights or run, whatever the usage of that particular PEDs for. You still have to perform in order to get the most out of them. So you have to exercise, you have to train with the addition of those performance enhancing drugs. So Canelo, his whole career has had stamina issues. So it's something in his training regimen that that's not working. And against the right fighter, it'll kill him. But again, go ahead.
Chris Eubank used to fight a very similar way. He'd punch, then stop. Eubank can never punch for 3 minutes or around. He'd spend a minute and a half working, and the rest is spent posing. Looking at you, posing. That's because he couldn't fight for 3 minutes. And then when he got pushed in a fight to fight for 3 minutes, he came on stuck against Steve Collins twice. Because there's a guy that made him work, and when he hit with his Sunday best punches, didn't make a difference. Collins walked straight through him and kept going. Eubank had no answer to it. So I don't think Golovkin's that guy to do that. I don't think Golovkin's that guy to put that consistent pressure on Canelo without walking onto a whole heap of punches. All I see. Go ahead.
Triple G is he's tepid against top level competition. That's what we've seen thus far.
Listen, it's gonna be Triple L at the end of this fight, not Triple G, Triple L.
Yeah, because if it's in Vegas, if it goes to the cards again, I don't see him winning. He has to knock Canelo out.
This is what I expect to see in the fight.
Yeah. Okay, guys. I'm going to fight. I'm going to get the fight out of here.
And this one.
Yeah.
And missing when the left hook all the time. And Canelo just slipping back, and then watching him, Canelo go, and his head go like this all the fight. That's what I'm expecting to see. Golovkin's head getting rocked back, and Canelo just slipping, moving, countering, putting 3, 4, 5 shots together and getting away. That's what I see him doing.
Yep. Yeah, it's like I said in private, it's the best fight for both of them because I believe they can't do anything with the rest of the division. They just can't. I think they're physically outmatched with this new insertion of middleweights. So if it goes to a decision, it's going to be another rematch. I'm telling you, man. If let's say Canelo knocks out Triple G or Triple G knocks out Canelo early, it's going to be a rematch. If they knock each other out late, it's going to be a rematch. This is set up to keep those belts in circulation.
The rematch is people. Rematch.
Right. You know,
IBF already left the hand.
But wait, hold on. If there's a rematch and the fight, do you think the fight there could be another draw in this fight?
Yeah, because they want to keep. Then there'll be another rematch after that. So, I'm telling you, man, these guys do not want to deal. They do not want to deal.
So we're looking at Canelo Golovkin trilogy.
Quadruply.
So like Bradley versus Pacquiao. Keep it in the house.
Yep.
Until someone leaves as a quadriplegic.
Yeah. It's going to take the sanctioning bodies to break up this BS. And we know that's not going to happen.
What about if Canelo or Triple G win by a beautiful knockout?
Rematch. I'm telling you, man, it's going to be they're going for a trilogy. I guarantee it.
Do you think this is fake beef or real beef? Did you see the weigh-in?
Hey, I didn't see the weigh-in yet. I think the beef is false. I just think it's very false.
Is it?
You know, what do they really have to be mad about?
Well, Canelo looked like he was going to fight him there and then. Canelo looked like he was going to throw down there and then. I've never seen Canelo like that. And I was like, go on, Canelo. Go on, Canelo.
Why fight a guy when it's been confirmed you've been taking roids? Come on, man. Don't get mad about it. There's no such thing as accidental steroid intake.
Let me ask, do you think that was roid rage? Eugene, did you see the weigh-in?
I didn't see it.
No way.
Damn, guys.
I told you I didn't see
the weigh-in, man. What's going on?
Yeah, what the heck is the weigh-ins? So same nonsense.
No, man. That's a super fight we're watching here, man. I mean, how can you not watch away for a super fight?
It's like the goddamn press conference. The only one that I actually watched and it gave me an insight was when Kovalev was making a rematch with Ward, and the way he behaved himself, like I knew that guy is broken up. Like he's with his ass naked. The rest of it, nah. Like it just never tells you anything. They can be really mad at each other there on the stage and then go backstage and take selfies.
That's true. I guess so. Somebody's saying that Canelo's nervous. Why would Canelo be nervous against Triple G? I don't see that. You fought Mayweather. You fought Costa.
He's had half his career has been big fights. That's an erroneous statement.
And the thing is, Golovkin's had 5 world champions. This guy's almost fought almost 20 guys that are of top quality. Why the hell are you even scared of Golovkin for?
Yeah, Golovkin has fought no one. His last 4 fights, 3 out of those 4 fights have been against higher level competition, and he didn't look so good. Brook, he broke Brook's orbital bone, but guess what? Brook was a 47-pounder on a 3-week notice. Okay, Jacobs. Many people think Jacobs won that fight.
I'm one of those guys.
Me too. And Canelo is arguable draw or a win for Canelo, depending on how you look at it, or a win for Triple G. But it wasn't a convincing fight either way. So he against higher level competition, Triple G is not the dominant monster that he's been portrayed by HBO as.
Only people that believe that he's a dominant monster and he can cut the ring down are casuals. That's it. That is it. And people want to subscribe to HBO. But the truth is, he's looked pretty average against better opposition. He's not like a Julian Jackson. When Julian Jackson went in there against Terry Norris, who was tearing people up, Jackson landed that right hand, and that was that. You know what I mean? Jackson, when he hit you with a right hand, you didn't get up.
Yeah, I'm seeing Canelo almost kiss Triple G right now, and maybe he is motivated, but again, I like to see him walk up on Charlo and all these other guys in the division like that. He's the same age as those guys.
Yeah,
So
when you saw them, when you obviously watch it now, when you see him going up towards Triple G, what are you picking up there? Is that roid rage?
Nah, because he's had to cycle out, of course. So I don't think he's having roid rage. I think that's honest to goodness pistivity, as I like to say. He's been pissed for a while. Everything that happened in May, saved up, to be unleashed tomorrow. But again, Triple G didn't handle the May situation well. Go ahead.
Why is that?
Well, the one thing he shouldn't have done was open his mouth. He should have just kept quiet and kept moving on, found a fight. Triple G was trying to find people who were basically targets and not able to fight back. And this is before we found out about. I know he was trying to make a fight with Jaime Munguia before anybody knew who Jaime Munguia was.
He wanted to get a fight against Murata.
Yeah, he wanted to get it. He wanted to get the easiest possible fight after the Canelo fall through that he could possibly get, and it's well documented. I think he went through 4 or 5 opponents seeking. I think Spike O'Sullivan was one of the opponents.
Yeah.
He went way out of his way to find people who weren't a threat to him. And
there was the African guy who was going to fight as well. The African guy that was unbeaten. Remember?
Yeah. I can't remember the name.
I think it was from Zambia or something.
But during that whole sequence of events before he picked Matt Rosen for target practice,
that was a terrible fight. I don't care what anybody says. That was a terrible fight.
And what's so crazy, Matt Rosen hurt him in that fight. So if Matt Rosen can hurt him, Canelo has a big time chance at hurting.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I've been saying.
So because Matt Rosen's not known as a heavy-handed guy. But during that whole debacle, Triple G felt the need to open his mouth, and this whole thing started back in May.
What do you think Triple G said that he shouldn't have said?
He said something about needle marks. He said something about seeing him inject himself or something. I can't even remember.
Taking a pill after weigh-ins.
Right. So
he said what?
The trainer of Canelo approached him and gave him a pill that he took.
Yeah.
You didn't see that? There was the whole talk about people he got red-handed. But then again, if you're juicing, why would you do it at the fucking weigh-ins?
But hold on a second. Having said that, do you remember where before Lucas Matisse went and splattered what's his name? Lamont Peterson. He put a pill in his mouth before he went out to box.
Yeah, I don't know what.
Come on.
I don't know what those pills are, but
what the hell are those pills?
Don't know. You know, I know that the most famous agent agent era or agent what do I want to say agent scene ever was the Panama Lewis mix thing with Aaron Pryor. You know, I put it in the mix. I put it in the mix. You know, that type of deal. You know, which is still hey, and Panama was a professional cheater, man. But you know, it's one of those things where Canelo, the WBC interceded on Canelo's behalf and spun this whole situation to make this fight happen. Okay, and if you go back and you look at the stories that were coming out on the WBC saying not wanting people to jump to conclusions, he tested positive, bro. That's all you can say. And so they suspend him for a little bit, but they also take everything back. He should have been suspended a year, but they made sure he was suspended only what was it 6 months, 3 or 6 months, something like that. And it even took them 3 months to strip him of the Ring magazine title, you know, which he probably still has now. And these are the things that are very tiresome in boxing to me, is the fact that people don't shoot it straight, don't play it straight. And now we have a situation where we got two guys. One's not to me really a middleweight. The other guy is false goods being billed to everybody. And what we're going to have after this fight is over is another rematch. I promise you. I cannot see it not happening. Triple G either retires or there's a rematch. You know. And I know I wasn't making a point. I'm just trying to getting my frustration out on this deal.
Okay. Golovkin. Why is it that when people watch Golovkin box, they don't actually take into consideration that in this last fight against Canelo, they don't take into consideration the amount of punches he took in that fight. Like, that people talk about how Golovkin won the fight. The way they're talking about it is like Golovkin won it by a landslide. I didn't see that. I saw Golovkin get hit with tons of punches and Canelo landing the cleaner punches.
It's just like I said, it's the billing, man. They bill him as this indestructible machine. And when, you know, people act like he wasn't getting popped. In that fight, he was getting popped. You know, bottom line. It's insane. It's totally insane to me.
Eugene, your thoughts on that?
I think a lot of casual fans are more buying into like the narrative and what the commentators are presenting in front of them rather than watching the actual fight. You see, that's why they had the whole spin about 21 knockout streak and whole thing. And then when Golovkin fought Jacobs, all of a sudden, no, it doesn't look that good. So, but then again, people like finding all the excuses to make him, you know, I guess to elevate him even more. Like he beat up like a small cruiserweight in that fight. He he's like, I don't know, they will try to find any excuse because it feels to me like when people are analyzing, or not actually analyzing, watching the fight, they're kind of like looking at each other. This is what I'm seeing, right? That's the guy, right? He's doing great. This is what I bought. So the fight was good, but it's just on the level of expertise when you look at it with the microscope, you don't really like. It doesn't hold any water.
I get you. I understand it.
So okay. I'd say just a lot of people just buying into the narrative rather than seeing what's actually going on.
Okay.
This is, well, I think, give me just to finish it. I think when Golovkin was coming out with all the talk about like needle marks and taking a pill after weigh-ins, I think he was trying to capitalize on that market. You know, the frustrated fans who didn't see the star shine. You know.
I got you. I got you. I see that. He was just trying to add salt into the wound.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. If you're Canelo, if you're Canelo's trainer, what's the strategy to beat Triple G in your opinion? And then if you're Triple G's trainer, what's the strategy to beat Canelo, Eugene?
If I'm Triple G trainer, then I'm not Abel Sanchez.
Exactly.
Okay, so what do you do?
Throw punches.
Throw punches.
Throw punches. Hey,
Okay.
he keeps slipping my jab. Throw more punches. He won't slip my jab.
Throw more punches or stop the
fight. To me, I would obviously add the corners, because he's, you know, the whole complaint about running is just because of Abel Sanchez's fighters just coming in a straight line after someone who doesn't want to stay in front of them.
Amen.
And the other one, more body work. Canelo, known for his stamina issue, let's add something on top of it. You know, if I'm Canelo, in no shape or form should I stop in front of Golovkin, even though he already knows his punching power. I would move. I would have him move outside and then assault him with a bunch of punches. When Golovkin is technically paralyzed, he's hiding behind the block, and he's not answering them. That's his whole tactics. And then break the distance again, let him fire back, miss a few times, rinse and repeat. And after a second, like when the fight goes past 8, you can basically have him. Like Golovkin will get all of his juice out, and now you just need to set up something. Like make him, because here's the thing about Canelo, he recognizes patterns. All right, he already seen him in the first fight. He knows where he's at. So in the second fight, it will take him even less time to adjust, and then it will be just a waiting game. He will be there to see another combination that has been hammered into Golovkin's head. And when he feels confident, he will stick something in between, and Golovkin will feel it. And probably, you know, if it's late, he will probably stop him.
Okay. Wall breaker?
So if I were Golovkin's trainer, and how would I win, or how would I strategize? And if I was Canelo's trainer, how would I win the strategy? Okay. If I were Canelo's trainer, all you need to do is stick and move the whole fight. Stick and move. You can throw. I think you can get away with 2 and 3 hit combinations all day, as long as you're moving. Triple G's not going to be fast enough to send a retort. So I really see just sticking and moving, slipping his jab. The hook will never connect, and pretty much outlasting him. I wouldn't play the rope game like he did the last fight, because I think that's the real true reason why the fight was a draw in the first place. Yeah. He played on those ropes too much, and was trying to be cute. Now the Canelo that I just watched in this weigh-in, if that Canelo comes to it, I'll be mighty interested to see if he slugs. I mean, he looks motivated. He looks aggravated. So let's see if he changes his game plan up from the last fight and actually goes in there and does what Abel Sanchez wants him to do. You know, now my analysis is going to be a little bit concise, because I just don't see much happening here. Now for Abel Sanchez, Abel Sanchez's side of the equation. Just go throw more punches, and that's it for Triple G. He doesn't have a strategy, man. They've been very careful picking his fights. HBO has assisted in that, and it's easy to come forward when you have Willie Monroe's and David Lemieux. When you upgrade to a talented fighter like Canelo, it's a different animal, and it's gonna take more than throw more punches and try to grab him, try to stand in front of him to beat Canelo Álvarez. That's just really how I see the fight going.
Okay. All right. So for me, things to do for Canelo to work on: more punches, more work to the body early. So you're looking to slow Triple G down for the second half of the fight, so he can't come on. One of the problems Canelo's got is stamina issues. So what you need to do is make sure that when you need to be able to take a break, the guy on the other side has already got the energy sapped out of him as well. So more body punching. The other thing is Triple G is not very good on the inside. He's not a very good inside fighter. Triple G looks great on the inside when you are hurt and you are against the ropes and he's bullying you, but he actually can't fight on the inside. His holding game is terrible as well. If you can hold Triple G and you can whack him up on the inside with uppercuts. He's very vulnerable to uppercuts. So that's another area I would say Canelo, a lot more roughhouse tactics on the inside, whipping uppercuts on the inside. The other thing is when Triple G is hit with a punch, he doesn't respond. You hit him with a 1-2, his response is to tuck up. He does this. He doesn't do anything but this. So when Triple G puts his hands up like that, there's no counter punch for Triple G. So you can attack 3-4 punches. He's just going to tuck up like this. Once the hands come down, put the jab in the face and roll out to the left or roll out to the right. Do not stand in front of him. So you hit him 1-2, and as soon as the hands come back there to reset, that's when he resets. And that's then when he throws his big shots. So it's almost like a not a boomerang, like a rubber band. His head goes back, and the momentum of when he goes back, he comes forward, and then he throws his shots. But when he goes back, he's ineffective. When Triple G's back, he's ineffective. So people will say and talk about the Daniel Gill fight, but Daniel Gill couldn't punch. So the momentum of those punches had no effect on Golovkin. But a guy like Canelo that does hit, his shots have got more effect. So Golovkin has to recompose himself before he throws shots. The thing that Kell Brook did when he went back like that, Brook actually afterwards stood in front of Golovkin. So he got excited. We threw a combination. Golovkin's head went back. And then Brook said, "Oh, I'll have a bit more of that." So as he went to have a bit more of it, that's when Golovkin comes back and catches you for a left hook. So you've got to get out, throw your jab and get to the sides. Use the sides. Tie Golovkin up, hit him up in the inside. That's where you take your break against Golovkin. On the inside, throwing uppercuts, tie him up, and wait for the referee to break you. As for Golovkin, for Canelo, work the body early, walk to ropes. I would actually see Golovkin use the cross-arm defense, this defense here, and walk forward, cross-arm defense, walk Canelo to the ropes, follow his feet, walk into the ropes, get him against the ropes, and work the body. Just work the body, Canelo. Look to sap his energy, and then come on strong from rounds 8 to 12. That's where I'd come on strong, to look to stop Canelo from 8 to 12. Rack up the body shots early. Forget the head shots. Work the body. Just work systematically to work in the body. And then not even 8, from round 7 to 12, that's where you put the foot down. And when Canelo wants to have a break, you attack. When Canelo's trying to take a break, that's where you attack. That's where you work the body. So, yeah. And I will try, if I'm Golovkin, instead of just going back like this and just tucking up and doing that, to be more effective. So I'd be trying it in camp. I'd be practicing in camp as I go back to going back and throwing the left hook, or back and throwing the right hand. Because all my career so far, when I get hit with shots, I just tuck it up like this. So this time, if I'm training Golovkin, I tell Golovkin, when you get hit with a shot, make sure you're throwing your left hook, because that's where somebody's going to be on the outside, just there, throwing the shot, throw the left hook or throw a right hand. So that deters them from doing what they possibly would do in a rematch. So those are my thoughts. Gents, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, you overthought it.
No, I gave just the coach's opinion.
Oh, I know. I'm jacking with you, man.
I know you are. I know you are.
Yeah.
What do you think of the strategy? Hey, Abel, if you're watching, let me know what you think. Go on.
The only flaw in the strategy for Triple G to me, the question mark is, can I catch Canelo with anything significant?
He's more likely to catch Canelo with that strategy I've put in there, because beforehand he just put his hands up and didn't want to defend himself. He's put his hands up like that. Now if he's going back, Canelo's going to be there still throwing them shots. He'll be able to throw the left hook or the right hand.
He's open for the body shots from Canelo with that strategy.
He's open to body shots anyway.
Right. And so we know there's one thing I can say that Canelo, and believe me, I'm not the biggest Canelo fan in the world. I'm not. But the one thing I can concede from Canelo is he can throw a wicked body shot. He can throw it consistently. You know, and I don't care how big a guy is, how much they outweigh him. A well-placed body shot can end the fight. You know, liver shots are beautiful, and it doesn't matter your size. If it's placed or if it's hit 1 or 2 times, 3 times, it's going to give. So I don't believe that Triple G's reflexes are quick enough to defend and then withdraw from the top to defend the body. So I think in that situation, Canelo scores all day to the body. Triple G has to drop hands. He's going to come forward. That's a guarantee. And like you said, as I came in, Triple G is 36, 37 years old. He's not changing his style. That's the significant issue there. You know, they're so used to actually just doing the same thing over and over again. This guy poses a different animal for them. He's not a run-of-the-mill fighter based on what Triple G has accomplished on his resume. I mean, when you look back on Triple G's resume, you got run-of-the-mill dudes that couldn't hurt him. This guy, you know, although smaller, can possibly hurt him. You know, that's kind of how I look at it. I think the flaw is Triple G's lack of speed, his tendency to come forward regardless, unless hurt. If he feels your power, he stops that coming forward shit. He does. We saw it with Jacobs, and we saw it with Canelo a little bit in that first fight. So we'll see what happens. I think accuracy is going to tell the tale in this fight. You know, accuracy and accumulation. You know, if either fighter can land on the other consistently in the same spots, and again, Triple G has the power advantage, but can he land the power? That's the key, you know. So that's how I look at it.
In terms of wear and tear, gentlemen, do you think Triple G can take that sort of punishment again for a second fight?
It remains to be seen. I would not definitely base his game plan around the same punishment he took in the first fight.
Okay. Ball breaker?
Repeat the question one more time. I didn't quite hear all of it.
Do you think that Triple G can take the same amount of punishment again for the second fight?
No. Because I think if he takes the same amount, it's going to be more vicious. I think at this point the surprise has worn off, the trepidation is worn off, and now it's really, hey, I know what you're going to do. I know what you're going to do. Forget about it. Let's go at it. And I don't think a sustained attack by Canelo can be tolerated over 5 or 6 rounds by Triple G. Triple G is going to have to become a fighter that he's never shown himself to be, you know, in order to win this fight. He's going to have to take some risk, you know, real risk, not risk where you're fighting guys with pity pat punches. You know, this guy's going to hurt. This guy could possibly hurt you. And that's what I want to see. If Triple G is going to be rated as a good fighter to me, because I can't rate him great based on his history. If he's going to be a good fighter to me, he has to beat Canelo in a convincing fashion. You know, That's how I look at it. There's just too many. There's just too much against Triple G. He has to knock this guy out. You know, he really does. That's the only way he's going to win the fight. I can't see him outpointing Canelo, and I just can't see him outclassing Canelo.
No, I can't either. In terms of heart, what sort of heart do you think Triple G has got? If he's hurt,
we don't know. We've never seen the guy hurt. Not really hurt. We've seen him stunned, but we've never seen him hurt. So, and I think we'll never see him hurt because he's not going to take those risks with the fighters that can hurt him. So I don't know if Canelo hurts him. That's an interesting question. If Canelo can hurt him.
If Triple G got knocked down in a fight, do you think he would try and get up and win, or do you think he's one of them guys who, if he hit the canvas, he wouldn't get up?
I'm not certain. You know, again, you don't know you don't know if you're battle ready if you hadn't been shot. You know, and as far as we know, Triple G hasn't been shot and dropped. So we don't know what his mettle is. I would like to believe that Triple G would get up and elevate his game. I would like to see that. That's what would make the fight better.
Who do you think the layoff has suited more, Triple G or Canelo?
Probably Canelo. You know, he got to work the drugs out of his system. he probably got to maintain the way he weighed in at 159.5 today. So it may have benefited him.
Okay. Eugene, do you have any thoughts?
I think Canelo has it better. But obviously, he's nowhere near to be on the downslide physically. He had some time to break down everything that he already seen in their first fight, and then add to it some more breakdowns from Golovkin's previous fight. Basically, if I was Golovkin, I would want the rematch in the next 4 months. But because it's been a year now, I think Canelo feels too good about him. You know, he knows already what he's gonna bring, and he has been polishing everything he needs to counter that.
You know,
and the only thing that can add to the equation if Golovkin has something more to add, which I don't believe is the case.
You know, I read a comment just a minute ago by somebody. Somebody said, "Oh, Canelo didn't come close to hurting Golovkin the first time." Yeah, Golovkin's lucky. The second fight now will be different. I believe he will hurt Golovkin in the second fight because Matarosen. The thing is, since the first fight, nobody knows how much that fight took out of Golovkin.
Yeah,
you can have a shot Golovkin in this rematch. Nobody knows how good. I mean, I saw a photograph not too long ago of Golovkin looking for the rematch, and he looked overweight. He didn't look in good shape at all. And he did. You're going to say something, Will Breaker?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And that's all right. And
I was disagreeing with you.
Yeah, you were disagreeing or agreeing?
I was agreeing with you. He did have a gut.
Yeah, he did have a gut. And the other thing was, for me personally, we don't know that fight. Those sort of the way that Golovkin was getting hit with all them punches, like that, they're sort of career-ending fights. Fight is never the same fighter after a fight like that. No fight is the same after that. Something that takes something out of a fighter, and it's not the first time it's happened. This is the third fight in a row that Golovkin's had where he's taken a whole heap of punches. The Brook fight took a whole heap of punches clean. The Jacobs fight took a whole heap of punches clean. The Canelo fight, it took a whole heap of punches clean from body to head. You can't keep taking punches like that. So there's got to be wear and tear on the body. And plus, it's not healthy. You know, I remember an interview that Sanchez did on the show. And he was talking about Golovkin, about him being injured after a fight. And some people said, oh, he was injured per se. He's either injured or he's not injured. To me, that I was concerned when I heard that Golovkin was, you know, he'll take a few weeks out of camp to prepare for the next fight. And I'd heard that he was injured, you know, I mean, seriously injured for the fights, but they kept that behind close quarters. So to me, you know, I don't know how much Golovkin actually has got left as a fighter, because he hasn't looked, in the 3 fights he had, he hasn't looked spectacular. You tell me, I mean, the fight against Matarosen was against a guy who hadn't fought for over a year, and he was a light middleweight. You know?
Well, so the thing with Triple G is, in my opinion, he's had walks in the park pretty much his entire career.
Yeah.
So wear and tear honestly shouldn't be an issue, in my opinion. You know, Kell Brook, what was that, a 4-round fight? 4 or 5 round fight, somewhere like that before they stopped the fight.
Yeah.
Jacobs went 12. Went all 12. Canelo went all 12. I don't see where there could be wear and tear. I don't see, if a guy hadn't taken punishment his entire career, how could he not be at the top of his game, even at 36? He hasn't taken any significant damage.
Remember, all the
level of competition,
and sparring sessions and sparring in training. If he spars the way he fights, then he's taking a whole heap of punches in sparring as well.
Right. But I really think what it boils down to, the reason why people look and see and think that Triple G is slowing down is because his competition is elevated, and that elevation takes it just takes away. It's just like a guy that plays American football. If he's in a high school game and he jumps to the National Football League, he's an all-star, #1 player in the country at football in high school, but he's the worst guy in the league in the NFL. It's kind of the same scenario.
Yeah.
You know, when you upgrade in competition and you haven't graduated in competition, so, you know, basically over the course of your career, you haven't evolved your competition. You just kind of jumped into higher level competition. You're just not going to look as good. You're not accustomed to it. So Kell Brook, although smaller, was an upgrade in competitiveness for Triple G.
Yeah.
You know, Jacobs won the fucking fight, in my opinion. Just did. You know, and then Canelo just out. If you look at the fight 3 times, no commentary, you see who wins the fight. I'll put it to you that way.
I think Canelo won the fight every time I look at it. But
yeah,
there you go.
Well, it's for people out there who say that, hey, Canelo didn't win. Watch the fight without commentators manipulating you. You know, that's what I say. That's how I watch fights. I watch fights without commentators. You know,
Jack Mann asked a good question, but I think he's going to be typical Canelo. Canelo comes out angry, upping Triple G's face. I don't think Canelo's going to do anything different. I think he's going to go on his back foot again and box. We're talking about the knockout and everything. I think Canelo's going to box. I think he's going to make Triple G think he's coming to have a war, and he'll get on the back foot and box.
I don't get that feeling. Based off of what I just saw, I don't get that feel. I've never seen Canelo do what he did in this weigh-in today. So maybe not. Maybe so, okay. Maybe not.
Do you think then we'll have a Hagler versus Hearns?
There's a possibility of that. And in that situation, that's the best scenario for Triple G, is to have that kind of fight.
It is. But you know what? Check this out. Canelo is the more experienced fighter going into this fight.
By far.
He's a more experienced fighter. And Triple G is not even his best. Is not the best opponent he's faced.
Exactly. Man, he's probably not even. Honestly, he's probably not even in the top 10.
Triple G's not even the most skilled fighter he's faced.
Not close. Not close.
Lara, 1.
Mayweather
2.
Who
Cotto.
else? Mosley. Yep. Who else? Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of the other guys. Well, I can't say Kirkland wasn't skilled. He's not top 10. He might be in the top 10 now I think about it.
Trout, Mosley, Canelo. Mosley was actually Trout was unbeaten at the time.
Right.
Lara,
we're missing people, and I'm trying to think of who it is.
Cotto.
Yeah, hold on. Let me think about this. One moment.
Cotto never fought Mayorga, did he? He fought Chavez as well, didn't he?
Yes. And Chavez not skilled to me. Chavez just benefited from Daddy's career.
Yep.
Okay, we got here. What you consider? No, not Angulo.
Tough.
Kermit Centrone wasn't in his prime at that time. Yeah, he would be in the top 10 based on what I'm looking at, man. Okay. He would probably be 6 or 7.
Okay.
Because if you look at it this way, Carlos Baldomir, nah. Shane Mosley, Austin Trout, Floyd Mayweather, Alfredo Angulo, Ezra Lara, James Kirkland, Miguel Cotto, Amir Khan.
Oh,
Liam Smith. Liam Smith, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., and Triple G. So he'd be in the top 10, but he'd be in the back end to me. Definitely ahead of Chavez Jr.
Floyd Mayweather, we fought Floyd as well.
Yeah, Floyd's number 1. That, I mean, he lost to Floyd, clearly lost to Floyd. And people can say all they want. Well, he wasn't in his prime yet. He was young. He would have lost in his prime.
Golovkin could never do that, like how Floyd did that. Golovkin could never do that.
Yeah, well, Golovkin doesn't have that type of skill, you know. Exactly. So, and people, whether you like Floyd Mayweather or not, he is a savant as a boxer. You know, and that's just what it is. He's literally a savant in the ring, and it doesn't matter what type of style you have. He will compute that style in 2 or 3 rounds, and come up with a game plan to defeat it. It's just I've watched the guy for years. I watched the guy basically his whole career. That's just what he did. I mean, he was very good at analyzing the guy's style, finding the countermeasures, and overcoming it. Only guy that ever really caught him hard. There's 2 guys that caught him hard. Jose Luis Castillo and Mosley.
I would have said Chop Cooley.
Yeah, Chop caught him. But again, well, look what happened at the end of that. You know.
Yeah.
Look, Floyd, when he took the shot from Mosley, that's when I finally confirmed Floyd actually had a chin. Because that should have knocked him out. It should have knocked him out. But I had to give the guy credit. And when Canelo fought him, Canelo was too young. Honestly, if he could have waited a few years, gotten a little bit more seasoned, I think it would have been a more competitive fight. But I still think it would have ended up with the same results.
People say now, what would happen if Canelo fought Floyd now?
Yeah. Floyd's 42, 43 years old now. I mean, come on. Now, if it was Floyd at 35 versus Canelo at 28, it's the same result. That's just really what it is. And in fact, Floyd was 35 when they fought. And I think Canelo was 21, 22 at the time, something like that. So, yeah, they fought in 2013.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
I mean, go ahead.
Guys, prediction time. Eugene.
Canelo by decision. At least 3 rounds.
World breaker.
I'm gonna go Canelo by decision, 6 rounds. 7 rounds. I'm sorry, 7 rounds.
I'm going to go with Canelo absolutely outclassing Triple G and stopping him late.
Cool.
All right.
Okay,
I guess
and
we're
now
gonna see.
one more and one more. The fight of the night, in my opinion, the fight of the night. David Lemieux against Spike O'Sullivan. Your thoughts? World breaker.
Yeah, I don't really deem David Lemieux as quality, so I'll go with Spike O'Sullivan. He's not a quality boxer, bro.
Eugene.
I don't actually know that much about Sullivan, so I'm gonna be like, hey, okay.
Somebody's getting knocked out of that fight. Now, for me, Sullivan's the left hooker. And it's like one guy's a left hooker, the other one's a right hander. So, Sullivan's best punch is his left hook. And Lemieux's best punch is his right hand. Lemieux can't box for shit. But both guys come forward. Both guys have got no defense. So, I guess it's the first. Who can hurt the other guy first? I don't think Sullivan's ever been knocked out in his career.
Now, I got a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm reading in the comments. Michael C says my prediction: Triple G wins the fight. Then we all talk about Floyd making a comeback against Triple G next big super fight. I don't see that as possible.
Oh no! Please no! Please no! No! We don't want Floyd against Triple G.
Yeah,
absolutely not.
I mean, 40-something-year-old Floyd. Come on, man.
Listen, I'm not being funny, but after tomorrow, hopefully, is the end of the Triple G myth. The end of the Triple G myth. The end of the greatest middleweight of all time crap. The end of the pound for pound great fighter. No, that crap has come to an end. Fed up of it.
Greatest middleweight champion of the playground.
We might get two for the price of one over 2 weeks. But Joshua and the GGG stories coming to an end. Can you imagine that? Triple G and Joshua back-to-back losses. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, they're gonna do a "We Are the World" song if AJ loses.
YouTube channels will just go boom.
You're lying. Yeah, those fanboys, those dart players will die on that one, man. They'll die if that happens. So, man, I'm ready for these. I'm ready for these tutty fights to move forward, man. I'm ready to go.
You know what? We need to have. People need to be. I'm not being funny, but some people need to get beat so they can show that they're not invincible, and just how well Floyd did get to be unbeaten like he was for as long as he was. Over 10 years that man was unbeaten. Over 10 years.
Who, Floyd?
Yeah. How many decades was he unbeaten?
No, it was almost 2 decades. He was never beat.
20 years.
Yeah, he hadn't been beat since the Olympics, and the score it wasn't the judges; it was the system that beat him. So,
yeah,
he got the Roy Jones treatment.
Yeah. Andre Ward's another. But Andre Ward didn't fight as long as Floyd, did he?
Boy, so many fighters the Olympics have cheated, man.
Yeah.
And time told on that. Boy, them cats came into the professional ranks with chips.
Very quickly, if Joshua and Golovkin were to lose over the weekend, or the 2 next weekends, how does that impact the YouTube community and the casual community?
It'll destroy the casual community. Because no one Go ahead, Eugene.
I think they will have a spin on it. Like there will be an outcry to the heavens that Canelo is a cheat, and because Povetkin popped twice already in his career, there will be a cry there as well. So they will not take it for what it is.
Yeah. Like, I mean, what we saw with the $50 million guarantee,
Yep.
and then it was met. I mean, it could only get worse from there. So
Uh-oh.
if they both lose, just expect more of the same.
So two guys that were beaten. Very quickly, Billy Joe Saunders, Andrade, any thoughts?
The Gypsy versus a Prince wannabe. I don't know. You know that I'm actually going. I'm going to go for Saunders on that one. I think Saunders, even though they both have not fought about the same period of time.
Yeah.
I would have to say Saunders has had the better competition. You know, Saunders has at least had some challenging fights. He's fought for titles. Andre hadn't fought for a title that I know of. You know, I could be wrong, but
you know, as an amateur.
Yeah, everybody, when you talk about Andrade, everybody refers back to his amateur status. Oh, he's a legendary amateur, but what is he as a pro? So I would have to give the edge to Saunders in that fight.
Andrade's been a world champion already, hasn't he?
I don't know. That's the thing. I'm not sure. Let me check.
World champion already. Yeah, he was world champion. Yeah, he's a world title against Brian Rose.
And who is that? Let's see. He got the television title, is what you're saying. Nah, let me see.
Something like that. So, Eugene, what do you think?
I think Saunders. And it's I think it's more of a personality issue how they would approach this fight, to me personally. Because Saunders, I think sometimes he sees something and he gets very excited, and that's where Saunders gets his way.
I'm going to pick against Saunders for this one. I'm going with Andrade.
Okay.
I think Andrade is a highly skilled fighter. I think he's going to raise his game, and I think he's going to shock a few people.
Yeah. Okay. I'll
Andrade with this one. I think this is Andrade's coming out party.
I mean, when I look at these two dudes' resumes, and I have the box record because I don't follow guys. I've seen a few fights, but I really don't follow these guys. Yeah. At least I can say with Billy Joe, he's fought Chris Eubank Jr.
How good is Chris Eubank Jr.?
Trash. What I'm saying is Willie Monroe, trash. David Lemieux,
trash.
Recycled trash. But
keep going. I
got Gary O'Sullivan on here. Spike.
Yeah, trash. You're gonna put trash as well. Go on.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm looking.
Okay, keep going.
It's a lot of shit on here, bro. But it's a lot of shit, and it's the same amount of shit on Andrade's record too. Well, I put it this way: he has Matt Rosen on his record.
There you go. He else as well, didn't
he? Yeah, yeah. These guys, the records suck. You know, these are. I mean, it's unfortunate.
So I guess it's going to be a match of weight collectors.
Exactly. Well, they can't help either the fact that for the longest period of time, and I had to throw Triple G in this group, that the middleweight division was lacking stellar competition. Yeah. It's kind of like the heavyweight division, and now you have 4 or 5 middleweights in there that can give you hell.
Yeah.
So, again, I know that Ingram and I were speaking earlier today about Charlo, and Ingram's point was Charlo hadn't been proven at middleweight yet, but it looks good. We'll have to see. I mean, but in my honest opinion, Charlo's the guy that's the scary guy in the division until proven otherwise.
Only in visuals. There's just no real. Just that anyone should be scared of him at the moment until he fights somebody. When he gets somebody to put up against him, down, I think
And as I brought up, it's not his fault. I mean, he just jumped in the division. He's had 2 fights this year in the division. Hopefully he has a 3rd fight this year. and we can get a litmus, but these top guys don't want to fight them, or they have other obligations. So it's kind of similar to the welterweight mess we got. So I just want to see some stuff move. I'm tired of the constipation in the divisions.
No, let me just talk about one more fight already. I'm going to call it excuses at the ready. Bellew versus Usyk. Excuses at the ready, that's what I'm calling it.
Bellew doesn't have a good ref.
No, do you want to hear what the excuses are?
Oh, go ahead.
Excuse number one. Yeah, I moved from heavyweight back down to cruiserweight. I tried to be great, but Usyk was a better fighter. Usyk was undisputed champion, so I gave him my best shot. Well, what excuses are? The excuses are set there. You know why he's gone to cruiserweight? Because it's embarrassing if Usyk moved up to heavyweight and whooped his ass at a big heavyweight. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Bellew's been walking around for 2 years, almost 2 years as a blown up heavyweight.
Yeah, Tony Bellew is bona fide trash. And anybody that tries to stand on Tony Bellew's resume, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Everything's been vacant.
And you should be flogged.
Everything his career has been vacant. Every belt he's won his career.
Every one of them.
And he's never beat a champion.
He's like, oh shit, they got the garbage pail kid belt. I'm gonna go get that one because that's really what he does.
I'm not gonna say that I think Tony Bellew is garbage, because I think Tony Bellew, personally, is a decent all-round fighter. I don't think
it's great. Level?
Yeah, he's a good decent all-round fighter. I mean, he's not.
At what level? That's what I'm saying. Low, mid, it isn't top. What happens if he gets in the ring with Deontay Wilder? What happens if he gets in the ring with Tyson Fury or AJ?
Well, I tell you what, I'll take my chance with him against Tyson Fury, based on the shit I've seen Fury put in the last 2 fights.
I agree.
I actually know everything I need to know about Bellew after his performance at cruiserweight, because he grabs a vacant title against Ilunga Makabu, right? So because it's vacant, he's supposed to fight his mandatory. He somehow, out of his ass, pulls out defense against BJ Flores. No, BJ Flores, he fought him. And had the Breedis on the undercard. So we were like, okay, so now this, the Breedis guy is going to be the guy who he actually defends the title against, right? The actual fight.
Go ahead.
His shit and runs. He just fucking ran like the wind and somehow solidified Emeritus WBC status after him. Like, how the hell do you do that? I just want to know his magic.
What I want to know is how the hell this fight is a unification bout. Can somebody tell me how it becomes a unification bout?
Of what?
Well, if it's like the Garcia versus Porter fight where the guy that loses gets a gold medal, then that's probably what it is. Jack Man in the chat says, basically what I'm calling Bellew trash is hyperbole. But this is the thing. Who has Tony Bellew actually fought that's worth a damn?
David Haye. That's what they're gonna say.
But who has David Haye actually fought and won that was worth a damn?
Derek Chisora.
Again, who is Derek Chisora? That's the thing. Derek Chisora's not known where I'm from. He's domestic talent.
Okay. David Haye David he beat Ruiz. He stopped Ruiz, who beat Evander Holyfield.
Who got knocked out by the Kiwi gentleman. And Roy Jones beat him. Right?
Yeah.
So again, John Ruiz is the king of fixed fights. And getting belts, through other means. James Toney beat John Ruiz, if I remember correctly.
Everybody who was half decent beat John Ruiz.
Right, exactly. So When you go back, and you know, Tony popped for roids at the time. I don't know how he was taking steroids. He must have been taking them in his cheeseburgers. But that's the thing. If you have a lineal tree through John Ruiz, I mean, it's like literally no credibility to me. You know, it's not that it's trash, bro. It's the level of competition is what I'm calling trash. Tony Bellew hasn't beat anyone of significance. That's worldwide. That's a worldwide player.
Bakabu.
You know? Who?
Bakabu.
Now you speaking another language. I do not know who that is.
Bakabu, the guy who beat for he was the dangerous fighter that he fought for the WBC vacant title.
Oh, vacancies. Yeah.
He beat Chilimbe.
Okay.
And
that was cruiserweight, right?
Miranda.
Edison Miranda?
Yes.
Okay.
He beat Edison Miranda and he beat Chilimbe.
And Michael C's right. He says you could say who has Usyk fought. Yeah. You know, you could say that. This is the thing.
Yeah, but who he hasn't fought in the cruiserweight that is available, you know?
Right.
Wait, he beat Breedis, he beat Huck.
And I'm very ignorant of the cruiserweight division. Cruiserweight division, that division falls in practice.
No, stop that. He beat the best guys in the cruiserweight division. Stop that talk, man.
No, I'm being honest. I don't know the cruiserweight division at all. I know Usyk. That's all I know, honestly.
Michael should know better, man. Come on, Michael.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. So I don't lie to suit the narrative.
Usyk had 14 or 15 title defenses on record to beat Johnny Nelson's record. Huck, who I thought moved up to heavyweight and beat Povetkin, but didn't give it to Povetkin, didn't give it to Huck. So Huck he beat Marion Brickmans Breedis. He beat what's his name? He beat what's this guy? Garcia in the final. Garcia went and knocked out Doctius.
Throw more punches. That Garcia fight. Throw more punches. That's all it was. Throw more punches. I don't know what you're gonna do. Just throw more punches. That's how you win the fight.
A big puncher in Garcia looked very, very primitive indeed.
He did. I agree with that.
And not many people do it to Garcia. In fact, nobody does Garcia.
How does Usyk fare at heavyweight, though?
Like he fared before against Joe Joyce, beat the shit out of Joe Joyce.
So does he beat Anthony Joshua the same way?
Well, there might not be an Anthony Joshua if Povetkin gets hands on him.
That's true.
I say Usyk. There are more question marks about Usyk versus Wilder or Fury rather than the proper Fury, rather than AJ.
Joshua.
Yeah, because the skill level.
Yeah, Josh is pretty much in and out.
Right.
Usyk could get in and out from them shots. I don't think it's the same against like Wilder.
Wilder, you don't know where the punch is coming from, and then it's blessings.
I wall back size.
You know, you don't see them shits coming. Not at all.
Right, guys. Is there anything else you guys want to say before we end this?
Hey, I would like to thank everybody for coming on the channel, BWTM, and listening to us give our predictions. I hope you guys enjoy the fight, and I wish you guys a very good evening and a wonderful day tomorrow.
Eugene?
I would say thank you for everyone for watching and listening, and keep following boxing. It's a great sport.
And as for myself, at 4:45 in the morning, after the basketballers from Word and Thunder popped around, thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, leave your comments, share the videos, and of course, afterwards, check out Round for Round Boxing, the latest video, including Henry Armstrong. We're out. We'll be back tomorrow night with live, exclusive, uninterrupted Golovkin versus Canelo undercard, and of course the main event, live audio commentary tomorrow night. Well, that'll be tonight. No, it'll be tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. So Tune in. Don't miss it. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you all. Take care.